Okay, here we go. So on canceling, question number 1, x minus 3 divided by x minus 3. Can we cancel those two things? What do we get?
1.
A 1, okay? Because canceling, think of it as dividing by the same exact thing. So this is 1 and 1. That means 1 divided by 1 is 1. How about the second one? Can I cancel those two?
Yeah.
What would you get?
1.
Would you still get a 1? Are they identical? No, right? So what you have to do first, or I wouldn't say have to, recommended is you want to rewrite it in order from the highest degree term to the lowest. So the negative x, I'm going to rewrite it to put in the front, then a positive 3 is in the back. Now look at it. Are those two things identical? But what can you do? So that way we can able to reduce. What can we do? What can we do so we can reduce? If you're going to multiply, you got to multiply top and bottom by the same exact thing. So, what would you do? Start with an F. You've been doing a lot of that this week. Factor. What are you going to factor on the top? You're going to factor out a negative 1. If you factor out a negative 1, what's left? X minus 3 divided by x minus 3. Now, can you reduce now? Okay, if I reduce that, the top is now negative 1. What's the bottom going to get? 1. Negative 1 divided by 1 is now what? This answer, guys, is negative 1. Okay, so can you see there's a difference between the first and the second? How about the third one? Can I cancel straight away without?
Yes.
Yeah, how come?
Same thing. They're both plus signs.
They're both plus signs. When it's an addition or the positive, does it matter if you do 3 plus 2 or 2 plus 3? No. But does it matter if you do 2 minus 3 versus 3 minus 2? Yeah. So subtraction, you can't move things around. But addition, you can totally do. So now we can cancel. What's the answer? 1. How's the last one? Can I straight up cancel them and get negative 1? No, they're not even the same, right? X minus 3 is totally different from x plus 3. So that one, guys, there's no canceling. Oops, there's no canceling. You're just going to write it as is, okay? Sometimes you can't simplify anymore. That's as far as you're going to be able to go. Any questions on reviewing cancellation? Joe, have a question?
Sure. Why did you not take out a negative 1?
On which one? On the top?
Yeah.
We can try. Let's take out a negative 1. Is that okay? So, do you answer your question?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so here are the multiplying and dividing rational expressions guidelines. Let me pull it up so you can copy that down. Oops, I don't need to do that. Okay, so here are the guidelines. Go ahead and copy that down, and then we are going to read it again once you guys are all done. As you guys are doing that, I'm going to come around and hand you your homework for the night. Tonight's homework is to repeat or review of last night's homework. So be in your team today. Just 2 in your team today. This is homework 8, so write 8 on it so you can keep track. So under multiplying, can you please read number 1 for me, please, Amanda?
Factor anything you can, find restrictions.
Yep, we're going to start with factoring. That's our first thing in trying to simplify or multiply. Arista, can you help me read number 2, please, under multiplying?
Simplify by canceling out something more than any.
Very good. Joe, can you help me read number 3, please? Right, okay. So when you multiply, guys, you want to multiply horizontally. Then we're going to do the same thing, or try to. Divide. Gemma, can you help me read number 1 on dividing? Good. Okay. So when you're dividing fractions, same thing as before in 4th grade. You're going to change it to multiplication, and then you're going to flip the second fraction upside down. Kai, can you help me read number 2, please?
Follow steps above the multiplying. When finding restrictions, look for anything that will result in dividing both together.
Perfect. And we are really good at finding restrictions, right, guys? When you take the denominator and do what?
Set it equals 0.
Set it goes to 0. Okay. Go ahead and finish copying that, and then we'll attack examples 1 and 2. So example 1, our instruction is to multiply. Guess what you do first? Factor. All right, let's factor the first fraction. 8x minus 4. How do you factor that if you can? Take out what? A 4. Good job. Take out a 4. What's left?
2x minus 1.
Beautiful. 2x minus 1 on the denominator of that. Chance, can you factor the denominator of that at all?
Yeah, you can factor by 3.
Good. What's left?
X minus 3.
Good. Okay. Times. Next fraction. On the numerator, Emma, can you help me factor that? Emma H, I'm sorry.
You can take out 5.
What's left?
X minus 3.
Good. The denominator, McKenna, can you help me factor the denominator?
Take out 5.
Good. What's left?
2x minus 1.
Good. Okay. Now before we go and cancel all, we would need to find the restriction. How do we do the restrictions, guys?
Set the denominator.
Take each denominator and set equals to 0. I'm going to start with x minus 3 equals to 0. How come I don't need to worry about this 3 right there? Yeah, the 3 is never going to be 0, so I don't have to worry about constants, okay? So the first restriction is at 3. Then the other side, do I need to worry about the 5 in the bottom? Nope. I'm going to take 2x minus 1 equals to 0. Move the 1 to the other side. So 2x equals 1. Divide both sides by 2. So the second restriction is at a half. Okay. So now you have 2 places that you have to restrict. So restrictions. That means the domain. X can never ever be what? 3 or 1 over 2. Beautiful. We'll box that up because that's what we want to pay attention to. Now, what are you going to do? Should we multiply horizontally or should we try to reduce? Reduce, okay? Roger, can I reduce anything?
X minus 3.
Yeah, beautiful. Daniel, can I reduce anything else?
2x minus 1.
Okay. Emma P, can I reduce anything else?
Reduce the 5s.
Yeah, let's redo the 5s. Anything else that's left that's not able to reduce? What's on the top? What's left over? 4, right? And then all over? 3. That means, can I reduce those 2 things? Nope. Okay. Look at that. The whole ginormous problem at the beginning, we reduce it all down to 4/3. Okay. Example dos. Guess what you're going to do first? Factor. Perfect. Grace, the first numerator, is it factorable? If so, what are you going to do?
Factor by x.
Good. What's left?
X times x plus 3.
Beautiful. The denominator at the bottom, I'm going to rewrite it in order of degrees. That means I want to rewrite what first? Negative x first. Okay. Times. Oh my. Go ahead and take a minute. I'm going to put a minute on the clock for you to factor out the numerator, compare the answers, and then the minute for the denominator, and then compare your answer with your team. Huh? Click that one. So factor, you have plenty of space. I gave you so much space that you can make 2 x's and still have room. Is the numerator factorable? No? How about the denominator? All right, go ahead, do me a favor and talk to one of them now about the 2 factors, top and bottom.
Factors for the bottom.
Yeah.
So 2x plus 5 is minus 1, and then on the bottom we have 2x plus 5 and x plus 3.
5 and 6.
Gabe, do you have the factors for the numerator?
Yeah.
Can you give it to me?
X minus 1 and 2x plus 5.
X minus 1 and 2x minus 5, you said?
X plus 5.
Plus 5, thank you. Someone confirm those for me? Perfect. The denominator, whenever you're ready, okay? Hunter, do you have the factors for the denominator?
Yeah.
Can you give it to me?
Plus 5 is 3, or x plus 3.
X plus 3. Okay, perfect. Any questions on those factorings? Okay, then the bottom of the first fraction, can you see there's a negative 1x plus 1? What you might want to do is factor a negative, ooh, that's so fat. Okay, what you might want to do is factor out a negative 1. Okay, if there's ever a leading coefficient of a negative, you might want to factor that out so that way it's slightly, by the way, if I take out negative 1, what's left over? X minus 1, right? Okay. Always try to take out the negative 1 so that way it's easier for you to see the cancellation. Now before we start canceling, what do? Restriction. Take each denominator and set equal to 0. So that's 1 right there. Over here you got 2x plus 5 equal to 0. Then you got x plus 3 equal to 0. The first restriction is going to be at x equal to 1. That's one denominator that we have to exclude. Carly, I have 2x plus 5 equals to 0. Can you help me solve for x?
Subtract by 5,
Mm-hmm.
and then divide by 2.
Good. Okay. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So x equals negative 5 over 2. That's another restriction. And then Aaron, if x plus 3 equals to 0, what do you think this restriction is going to have to be at? Good. Okay. So here we go. Restriction for domain. Domain. All real numbers, not including what, James?
1, -3, -5.
Good. -3 and -5 over 2. Good job. Okay, now I wrote my restriction. Can I cancel?
Yeah.
All right, we can. Kennedy's absent. Ainsley, what can you cancel?
X + 3.
That looks like a good idea. So x + 3 is going to be canceled. Brandon C, what else?
What else can we cancel?
X minus 1, beautiful. Good job. Anything else, Victoria, that we can cancel? 2x + 5. Anything else, Dylan, that we can cancel?
No.
No. So, Dylan, what are the things that are left over?
X and -1.
Good. X divided by -1. Do we leave our answer like that? No. X divided by -1 is actually what? -x. Box it up. And that's where we are going to pause for today.